Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from Ham on Beat, and we are doing the every music reference in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Stardust Crusaders, my favourite part. Lots of music references in this one. Lots. Hence why this is like 15 minutes. And again, in case you're coming into this after the fact, he's redoing them again with more detail. Hence why they're longer. And the last one I thought was interesting because we actually had some art references as well. So maybe there we might be other things thrown in this as well.
She's up there!
On the beat!
Welcome back to another installment of me going over every music reference in the JoJo series. Some time ago I did a series going through the references for each part, but due to copyright they've had to be repeatedly shortened and re-uploaded until the point that they aren't very enjoyable to watch. Another problem with those videos is that they didn't allow me to go fully in-depth on the sources or reasoning for each reference. Hopefully with the new voiced format I can help people better understand the lesser known references and learn something new. This time we're
It definitely does. Yeah, it definitely do learn some stuff that I didn't realise through these, which is cool.
taking a look at Part 3 of JoJo, Stardust Crusaders. Part 3 was quite long compared to 1 and 2, and it subsequently has a ton of characters and references to go over. So let's get into them. The first music reference for the part would actually be Jotaro's absent father, Sadako Kujo. He was described as a jazz musician on tour during the events of the story. He's based on Sadao Watanabe, a real Japanese jazz musician who Araki is known to be a fan of.
Cool.
Most of Araki's music taste seems to be based in the West, with only a few Japanese artists being liked by him enough to reference. In a 2002 interview, Araki said that Watanabe is the only Japanese artist who he has in his home CD collection. Next is one of the first characters introduced, Muhammad Abdul. His last name is based on the American singer Paula Abdul. I've gotten a lot of pushback over the years for this, with a lot of people saying he is really a reference to the Saudi singer Muhammad Abdul. However, this is not actually the case. There's a direct source for this reference in the Shueisha Jump remix, a re-release of
He's got receipts.
the manga that included special features confirming many of the references in parts 3 and 4. Here we can see that it directly says Avdol is based on Paula Abdul, and even comes with a picture. You'll be hearing me mention Jump Remix a lot in this video, since it really does confirm a ton
Helps back up your points. That's fair.
of things. One of Abdul's main attacks, the Crossfire Hurricane, is based on the opening line of the song Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones.
Oh.
After Jotaro's fight with Kakyoin,
Of course, yeah.
Holly is seen singing the song The Locomotion. While this song has existed since 1962, this is most likely a reference to the popular 1987 cover by Kylie Minogue, who Araki has mentioned listening to before.
Right.
In the anime, this song is changed, and she is instead heard humming the pop song Blue Coral Reef by the Japanese singer Seiko Matsuda. Interestingly, the singer's name matches up with Holly's Japanese name, Seiko.
That's
With
cool.
the main goal of the part being to locate Dio in Egypt, it's likely that this was partially inspired by the song Egypt, the Chains Are On by Ronnie James Dio.
Mate. That's probably is. I did. Wow, okay.
The old man who was the user of the stand Tower of Grey is named Grey Fly. He didn't initially have this name in the manga, and he was named by Araki several years later for the Heritage for the Future PlayStation port and for the JoJo A Go-Go art book. Jump Remix confirms that this name is a reference to Glenn Frey, the former singer for the Eagles. Jean-Pierre Polnareff's name is a reference to the French musician Michel Polnareff. This was confirmed in Jump Remix as well
Okay, not aware of Michelle Polnareff, but cool.
as by Araki himself in the JoJonium Volume 16 interview. The name of Polnareff's sister, Sherry, is most likely taken from the
Sherry baby. Is it?
Michel Polnareff song Toot Toot Pour Ma Chérie.
Oh, never mind. That's right.
The user of Dark Blue Moon was impersonating the ship's captain, Captain Tennille. This is confirmed as a reference to the American pop duo Captain and Tennille. In the English localized version, his name was changed to Captain Dragon, still a reference to the captain of Captain and Tennille, whose real name was Daryl Dragon.
Oh, okay, cool.
According to Jotaro's bio, his favorite musician is the Japanese singer Toshinobu Kubota. The user of the stand's strength is the orangutan Forever. Like Grey Fly, he was given this name by Araki later for the game and art book.
Okay.
As confirmed by Jump Remix, the name Forever is a reference to the album Wu-Tang Forever by the Wu-Tang Clan. This reference is also a pun, since the Japanese spelling of orangutan also features the spelling of Wu-Tang.
Cool.
Kakuin's bio lists his favorite musician as Sting. The character Devo is named after the American new wave band Devo. In Viz Media's first translation of the manga, the character had to be renamed for copyright reasons. He was given the name Soul Sacrifice, a reference to the
There's a lot of issues with the whole copyright and names of things and that, and spelling things differently.
song by Santana. This name has been used since in the English versions of the anime and games. When Joseph uses Hermit Purple on the TV, we can see a variety of music references. First is the logo for the music-focused TV channel MTV.
Right, cool.
Then we see an image of Tom Petty's debut solo album, Full Moon Fever.
Cool.
Finally, we see an image of the Japanese CD cover for the Jeff Beck album, Jeff Beck's Guitar Shop.
Huh.
Yellow Temperance's user was later given the name Rubber Soul, confirmed in Jump Remix to be a reference to the album of the same name by the Beatles.
Right.
Whole Horse's name is a reference to the American duo Hall & Oates. Now this is one that I've seen a ton of people deny, with many saying that he's actually a reference to the music group Full Force. However, this is not the case, and this Hall & Oates reference is confirmed in Jump Remix.
Jump Remix
If we take a closer look at the names in Japanese, this actually makes much more sense. If you put the names Hall & Oates together, in Japanese it sounds almost identical to Whole Horse. The user of Hanged Man, Jay Guile, is a reference to the American rock band, the Jay Giles Band. In the English localization, Jay Guile is renamed to Centerfold, a reference to one of the band's songs. The user of Empress, Nena, is based on the German singer Nina. ZZ, Wheel of Fortune's user, is named after the band ZZ Top.
Of course.
Enya the Hag is named after the Irish singer Enya.
Oh. Alright. Alright, that's something there.
When Enya first meets the group, she claims that John Lennon stayed at her hotel, of course referencing the English musician and member of the Beatles.
Right.
Steely Dan is named after the band Steely Dan, which Araki has referenced many times over the years. In the original Viz translation of the manga, his name was actually changed to Rubber Soul, the name of an entirely different character. In case you're wondering, Rubber Soul wasn't directly named in the manga, so it wasn't as confusing back then.
Right.
The briefly seen user of the Sun was later given the name Arabia Fats, confirmed to be a reference to the American musician Fats Domino. The infant user of Death 13 was later named Mannish Boy, a reference to a song by Muddy Waters. Abdul's chickens that he cared for on the island were named Prince, Michael, and Lionel, references to the musicians
Prince, Lionel Richie, and Michael Jackson.
Prince, Michael Jackson, and Lionel Richie.
Right.
The user of Judgment was named Cameo, the name of an American R&B group. His stand's catchphrase, Hail to You, may be styled after the names of Prince's songs Nothing Compares to You and I Would Die For You.
The letters.
High Priestess's user Midler is named after the American singer Bette Midler. In the English version, she was renamed to Rose, referencing the song The Rose, popularized by Bette Midler in the 1979 film of the same name. Iggy is confirmed by Shueisha Jump Remix to be named after the musician Iggy Pop. Undul is named after the Senegalese musician Youssou N'Dour. The brothers Oingo and Boingo are named after the band Oingo Boingo.
Ah, I did not know this. Who are they? What did they sing? There's a lot of people in that band.
In the first English localization of the manga, the two were renamed to Zenyatta and Mondata, a reference to the album Zenyatta Mondata by the Police.
Ah, wow, okay. Cool.
These names were also used by the Crunchyroll localization of the anime.
Yeah, that's what Yeah.
Now though, the duo's original names are back to being used in the official English manga. In the JoJo A Go-Go art book, a name is given to the blacksmith that originally created the stand Anubis.
Oh.
He was named Caravan Sarai, a reference to an album by Santana.
Sick.
The other users of Anubis, Chaka and Khan, were named after the American singer Chaka Khan.
Chaka Khan.
Mariah is named after the American singer Mariah Carey.
Right.
This is another one that for some reason people have trouble accepting, and I've seen a lot claim that Mariah was just chosen as a common name. Some have even tried to say that Mariah Carey wasn't popular or a singer at all during the time the character was introduced. Of course, this isn't the case, and Mariah's reference is confirmed by Jump
She's
Remix.
been around for years.
And if we also look at the date when Mariah first appeared in the manga, we can see that Mariah Carey was already a chart topper by this time. Alessi is named after the American pop duo, the Alessi Brothers. The two Darby brothers are both named after the American singer Terence Trent D'Arby,
Oh, right. Never heard of him, but that's cool.
with the younger Darby also using his first name. Two of the elder Darby's poker chip victims are named after Gary Moore and Christian Vander, references to the Irish singer Gary Moore and the French musician Christian
Wow, so many music references.
Vander. Pet Shop is named after the English pop duo
Pet
the
Shop
Pet Shop
Boys.
Boys. The environment of the race inside of F Mega seems to be inspired by the album cover of Relayer by Yes.
Whoa.
The art for the cover was of course done by Roger Dean, who Araki has referenced before. Kenny G, the stand user responsible for the illusion inside Dio's mansion, is named after the American jazz musician Kenny G. In the English localization, he was strangely renamed to Billie Jean, referencing a song by Michael Jackson.
Huh.
As if there were in any
I think it's interesting that when something's renamed, it's like, right, okay, let's find another musical reference so we can rename it to.
more danger of copyright from a moderately popular jazz artist than they were from referencing a song from the best-selling album of all time.
Yeah.
Kenny G's stand is an odd one since it's the first to not fit into the tarot card or Egyptian god themes, but also isn't a full music reference. The stand is named tenor sax, after the instrument the tenor saxophone. Vanilla Ice is named after the American rapper Vanilla Ice. His localized name is Cool Ice, possibly a reference to the Vanilla Ice song Cool as Ice. His stand Cream is referencing the British rock band of the same name. Suzy Q's Butler Roses may be a reference to the band Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
The design of Dio's stand of the world seems to be inspired by Murray.
Does look very... It looks very similar. It's very, very similar.
The demon character seen on the covers of many of Ronnie James Dio's albums. The world also notably has 2 oxygen tanks on its back, which may be a reference to the song Holy Diver by Ronnie James Dio.
I love that. That's so cool, yeah. Holy Diver.
Senator Wilson Phillips is referencing the American pop vocal group of the same name. After Joseph is revived, Jotaro quizzes him to make sure it's really him.
With the weird Al Yankovic thing.
In one of the questions, he asks him who sang Eat It, with the answer being Al Yankovic. This is of course a reference to the song Eat It by Weird Al Yankovic, a parody of the song Beat It by Michael Jackson. In the final chapter, Joseph listens to Get Back by the Beatles on his Walkman.
Get Back.
In the 1993 OVA adaptation, if we take a close look at the tape, here he's actually listening to the French band Gypsy Kings.
Huh.
The last thing to mention would be the anime's 2 ending themes. First is Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles, of course alluding to the Crusaders' trip to Egypt.
Yes, it's very on the nose. Walk like an Egyptian.
And the second is Last Train Home by the Pat Metheny Group. Araki is actually a huge fan of Pat Metheny and included him in his list of his top 5 albums. And that's all the music references in part 3. Since it's a longer part, naturally there was a lot more to cover, and I'm glad I got to show a lot of the lesser known facts about each reference. As we move on to the future, the references are only going to get bigger, with stand names now starting to carry references as well. In the next video, we'll be heading to part 4, home to some of my all-time favorite music references.
So I love it. So Damon is Unbreakable we can check out still. I can still then check out part 5, Golden Winds. We can do part 6, Stone Ocean, and then I'll have to bow out again and then try and continue with the manga. I've always been anime only, but at least this time round I can do one further than I've ever been able to in the past, you know, with these JoJo's related videos. I'm trying. But anyway, that was cool. Very educational, and make sure you check out my Etsy shop. Links in the description for t-shirts and hoodies that I've designed. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link in the description of the Patreon page. $1 a month for the last support channel is greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. And thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe, leave comments down below. Let me know that I should watch because of future videos. See you guys all, next time.